To me, it looks like they've gone for the death option a little bit too soon right now. Maybe just stick to your guns and try and get a wicket, especially get Tim out now, and it could change the game totally and get two new batsmen at the crease, and the game's turned on its head.
Very sensible here from the captain. Mighty 6 over mid-wicket, and then what he does the next ball, he's happy to tuck it down on the leg side for a single and get off strike.
A little bit too soon right now.
Very sensible. And Manpreet Singh, how important has his role been in this partnership? 10 of 15, happy to play second fiddle, and he's okay with the captain Tim Davids taking charge. Talk to us a little bit about this tournament, Sean. It is obviously 6 league games. There is no final. How do you approach a tournament like this?
Obviously, it's our first time coming into a tournament like this without having a final. Obviously, we want to win every game and win every game as comfortable as possible. So we take it game by game and take it step by step and just follow our processes and stick to our plans for as long as possible. Execution is obviously key when it comes down to the skills and on the field stuff. Rest is extremely important in a T20 tournament like this when you have games so close to each other. It takes a lot out of you a T20 game, funny enough. The bowlers are bowling quickly through their overs, and some fielders are going from long on to long on, cow corner to cow corner. So, yeah, it's just nice. It's nice to have a tournament that's short and quick, but at the same time, you've got to be clever about your rest. Is extremely important, and just all the basics about cricket.
Yeah, so it's not just about advancing to the latter half of a tournament in any given tournament that you play, but it's also about the match practice, the exposure at the international level that's going to do the boys a world of good.
Yes, exactly, and obviously there's pressures that come with that. During the game, during training, and that you don't really have those pressures. In a game, you've got the crowd, you've got the umpires, you've got the lights on. All of a sudden, things change. All of a sudden, you can't hear anything, you can't seem to think. So we try and train under those conditions, but it's obviously difficult to. So having come from Bangladesh to here, a lot of our boys which have come from there obviously have dealt with that and felt those pressures. As we saw last night, Ryan Bill and Mutambami, they soaked up the pressure for us so nicely that it was such a good thing to see for us moving forward as a team.
Just that card that you just saw on your screen is an indication of how Singapore have gone about this innings. Useful partnerships right from the very beginning, and they find themselves in a pretty decent platform to go big in the final 6 overs. 22, 35 and 37 this partnership. Down the track, Tim Davids again. Almost overran, did the long on fielder. Can afford to smile because he manages to stop it. 150, 160 on the cards, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think this is the over that Tim's going to look to take on here. I think they'll both probably try and go. Maybe Manpreet will try and get one here and get Tim back on strike. Obviously, actually, he might have got away with the boundary there. No. He's got 2, but definitely this looks like the over that they're going to target here. If they get a good 15 to 20 runs this over, you might even be looking at closer to 200.
Singapore scored 191 the last time these two teams played in the final of the Asia T20 qualifiers. Excellent, a good looking cover drive there. Confident looking Manpreet Singh. And it was that man Tim David who led the charge on that day as well. 73 in just 44 deliveries. 14 overs completed, 99 for 2. Right, you're watching live pictures of match number 2 of the Singapore Tri Nations T20I, brought to you by Instagram. Plenty of options for you to find live coverage. VC Sports, Willow HD TV, Facebook handle of Singapore Cricket Association, and the fan code app by Dream11 as well. We have a decent crowd in for today. Obviously, a very good Nepali contingent here in Singapore. And no surprises as to why we have a good crowd in today. The home team, Singapore, are in action. It's not often that they get to see their team play here, so they've come out in decent numbers. Manpreet Singh, he's been doing this all through this innings. He's happy to hand over the strike back to Timothy Davids, and with just 6 overs left, we might just see Tim David shift a gear or two.
Definitely, I think he's going to start targeting the short straight boundary. He might actually start giving himself a little bit of room to the leg side to clear through the off side, or he's going to come out down the wicket and take on that short boundary, like I said.
6 league matches in this tournament. Each team plays the other teams twice in fact, my apologies. Full toss, straight back past the bowler, and stopped by the captain, Paras Katka. Yeah, Tri Nation Series. Each team plays the other 2 teams twice. A total of 6 matches. Remember, there is no final, so we have 6 league games, but plenty of match practice for all the 3 teams here. Wayward delivery by Karan Casey down the leg side, and the umpire is happy to stretch his arms. Wide signal. Sean, what do you think were your key takeaways from last night's game?
I think we started off really well with the ball. We obviously put pressure on them very early on. They didn't manage to get a boundary. Well, they got a few boundaries, but the scoring rate was really low. I thought our fielding was really good. I was really impressed with that. And in the middle period as well,
Up goes the umpire's finger. Against the run of play, Manpreet Singh misses a straight one, and he will have to make the long walk back to the pavilion. Karan Casey strikes again, and that's wicket number 2. This is probably one Nepal needed at the moment. They need to get some wickets to stop the stem of runs. Quick look at this ball once again. Missed a straight one, and the umpire, no hesitation whatsoever in lifting the finger. And that's wicket number 3. 102 for 3 Singapore. Right, it's going to be Janak Prakash, the new batsman for Singapore. We've heard a lot about him. Talented all-rounder for Singapore. Always contributing with the bat, with the ball. And his job will probably be to give Tim Davids enough of support for the rest of the innings.
definitely, I think he'll be looking to rotate the strike as much as possible now, and be the guy to obviously keep wickets in the bank leading up into the last 2-3 overs here. I think if Nepal can pick up another wicket or 2 here, it will definitely stop the run rate, and it will bring it down quite considerably. So yeah, let's see how he goes about his innings here.
And he's off the mark straight away. Pushes it down the ground for a single. And that brings the captain, Tim David, back on strike. Sean, captaining Zimbabwe or sitting in the comp box? Which do you think pressurizes you a lot more?
I think sitting in the comp box, obviously. Obviously having Tino behind me, I've played with him and he's excelled in cricket, but he's starting to excel in the commentary box, so he's leaving me behind in one thing.
Tino always has a thing or two to say, doesn't he? It's fantastic to have you in the commentary box, Sean. As we come to the end of over number 15, Sean, all the very best for tomorrow's game against Singapore.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I wish you guys all the very best, and it's been a pleasure to be here.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you, and I'll see you around tomorrow.
Cheers.
15 overs completed. Singapore 104 for 3, and it's going to be Tino back with me in the commentary box. Right, we're down to the final quarter of the first innings, and Tim David advances down the track, looking for that big one. Sushant Bari didn't play yesterday, comes in instead of Sandeep Johra today. A very disciplined effort from him. He got that first wicket, 19 into his fourth over. Captain Paras will take that. Absolutely. Sweep shot, and a good sweep shot.
He had to make sure that he got it square of the man at 45 and find the man at deep back with square leg. He did that with consummate ease. Sliding down the leg side very quickly onto one knee and puts it away comfortably for a boundary.
Excellent looking sweep shot there from Janak Prakash. They will want to get a move on here. 109 with a little less than 5 overs left. They would probably target the 150 mark. Tino, you think 150 is probably good enough for Singapore against the decent looking Nepal batting lineup?
I was just going to say, I think 150 they'll be disappointed with, especially if Captain Timothy David bats the majority of these last overs. Is 150 enough? It possibly could be. But I think they'll be targeting 160 plus from here. Especially if Timothy David bats the majority of these remaining 4 overs after this one.
And you can see him starting to open up already. He's eyeing the boundaries on the leg side, fancies himself against the left arm spin of Sushant Bari. Down the track once again, swats it hard, straight to long on this time. Just a single though. A very disciplined effort from Sushant Bari. Considering that this is just his first game, Paras Katka will be quite happy. And there you go, the quick high fire as well. 16 overs completed. Right, we're down to the final 4 overs of the first innings and a change in the commentary box as well. A very familiar voice in this part of the world, Shehzad Haq. Welcome. And he's going to be giving company to Tino for the remainder of this innings.
Thanks very much, Nuff. And good to be with my man Tino here. Good to be involved here with this tri-series. That's a lovely swat, isn't it? Some might say agricultural. Tino, you play those kind of shots ever in your time? Are you more orthodox? Yeah.
In the backyard, Dick. I think I've been seen playing shots like that in Test match cricket. I wouldn't be in the lineup.
That might be it for you, right? Yeah, yeah.
Good to have you.
Yeah, very.
You in a couple of days.
Yeah, I thought I'd drop by. Come